This is a presentation of the Arizona Cardinals Broadcast Network.
Hey, let's get this going right here. Here we go. Let's work today. Got him. Let's go. All day. Wait to see fight. Let's get it going right here. That's how football goes. Let's go win it. Let's go win it. Let's go.
This is Cardinals Game Plan with Head Coach Kliff Kingsbury, presented by Dignity Health.
All right, welcome in everyone. And Wolf, we've all been there, have we not? You're driving down the road, and then all of a sudden, the check engine light comes on.
Oh.
What do?
Call my wife.
You pull over, Wolf, okay? And you make the repair, and then you keep going on your journey. Do you not?
Yes,
You
you
see
do.
where I'm going with this?
I do, Paulie.
Okay, all right. And remember, Coach Kliff Kingsbury told us last week that Matthew Stafford, as good as he is, he's probably underrated.
Indeed.
And we saw some of that in the fourth quarter. Welcome, Coach. And you saw an experienced quarterback in that last drive in the fourth quarter, didn't you?
No question. You can't give that guy the ball in that situation late and not expect him to go down and win it. And that's what he did. So you got to give him a lot of credit. And I thought they played really well.
Coach, how do you think you played overall?
Not to our standard. I felt like we, had some moments, but consistently didn't do what we needed to do to get that win, knowing we had a team coming in that was going to have their backs against the wall and play their best game, and I felt like that's what Detroit did.
Is there a lesson to be learned from this game in particular with a young team that you want them to remember going forward?
Hopefully that we just, don't give games away. If a team's going to come in here and make sure they beat us, I felt like we, with the 3 turnovers and a few things we did here and there, we just allowed them to have a game that quite honestly, we felt like we should have won. But once again, Detroit had a good plan. They came in here and executed at a high level, and you got to give them credit.
Coach, do you think that long-term this could actually pay dividends down the road?
I'm hopeful. It kind of resets us and restarts us, and we understand each week you can't take anything for granted.
All right, let's hit a few highlights in this game, few moments at least that were critical. And we'll start with that first interception by Kyler. He was intending to target Dan Arnold. His arm seemed to be hit. And did you consider that ball catchable? What did you think of that first pick thrown by Kyler?
It was tough. Like you said, I think it would have been more on target had his arm not got hit. And Dan looked like he may have had a chance for it, but it would have been a tough catch. And unfortunately, they picked it off. And no points on that drive, which ended up being huge in the ballgame.
And then, of course, Kyler Murray, the mighty Kyler Murray on that touchdown run, made it 13-10. Talk about that 1-yard touchdown run by Kyler.
Yeah, it was a design kind of quarterback keep, wanted to get him one-on-one in space, knowing that he's a hard guy to tackle, and he made a heck of a move and found a way to get in the end zone.
And that one went viral as well.
Yes.
The only downside is Detroit then went down the field in about 90 seconds at the end of the half. How critical is that? That sort of juncture and that turn going into halftime, and obviously Kenny Golladay was back, and he's a handful.
He's a terrific player, and that was a big-time drive. Stafford had that drive and then the one at the end of the game, and that's what the great quarterbacks do. And you'd like to keep them out of the end zone there and at least hold them to a field goal, but you got to give them credit. Made a big-time catch to get it in.
Then, of course, Okudah intercepted Kyler Murray for his 3rd interception on the day. Do you think Kyler was trying to force the ball, Coach?
I think a couple times he was probably trying to make a little too much happen. When you walk that fine line, being a playmaker like he is, and we understand that, but we just can't give him those short fields like we did multiple times yesterday.
He used the term user error.
Yeah.
Where can Kyler get better? He still only made 19 starts in the NFL.
Yeah, everywhere. He's a dynamic playmaker. I think the sky's the limit for what he can be, but he's going to have mistakes, and he's got to learn from them and continue to get better. I think we're still young into this football season, not having an off season, no preseason, and we're still working out some kinks, and I know he is as well.
Coach, once again, there it is, Andy Isabella on a 4-yard touchdown catch this time to make it 23-20. Talk about Andy on that play.
Yeah, we wanted to use his quickness down there one-on-one, did a good job separating and then really forcing his way into the end zone. We liked the look for it. Kyler got it out quick, put it on his body, and Andy did the rest.
Coach, then the Lions, of course, they got the ball with 4:49 to go in a tie game, and as you know, moved downfield. What was the most disappointing element? Not obviously the end result, but the process of that in regard to your defense.
Yeah, I think we had a 3rd and 11, I believe, and they converted, and then I think a 2nd and 16 that we had a pass interference on, which I mean, that's tough. You can't give those things up against a good quarterback and not expect him to go down and win it.
What did Detroit do defensively that maybe you thought was effective, and do you expect to see it again, being that the NFL is a copycat league?
Yeah, I thought they did a good job disguising looks and mixing up coverages, and teams are going to continue to try and do that with Kyler's dual threat ability, and we understand that. We just have to make sure we're making good decisions and have to do a better job protecting the football.
Coach Kingsbury sets his sights on the Carolina Panthers when we return to Cardinals Game Plan. Presented by Dignity Health. Hello, human kindness. By Nissan. For great offers, shop nissanusa.com. By Desert Financial Credit Union, sharing success with you. And by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Welcome back to Cardinals Game Plan and Coach Kingsbury's virtual film room. Powered by Microsoft Surface.
All right, back with the head coach of the Cardinals, Kliff Kingsbury, also the play caller. Let's get right into it. Andy Isabella with 2 touchdown catches. How about the 13-yarder, second and goal from the 13? Take us through that play.
Yeah, we liked the matchup. They came down and played man coverage, and Andy had a great release, and Kyler really lofted it up nicely, and Andy created separation, really tracked it, and it was a heck of a play. You can't draw it up any prettier than they executed it.
Coach, does the lack of big plays or takeaways defensively, does that concern you at all?
It doesn't. I think those will come if we continue to do our job and work hard at it. Like I said, it's still early in the season. Without an off season, no preseason, there's a lot of football left to play, and I think we'll just continue to get better and better at those things.
How about your interior D-line? I mean, you got 2 big dudes in Corey Peters and Jordan Phillips. They're playing big right now. Both had a sack on Sunday.
They really are. Jordan was a great pickup for us in the offseason, and you all know Corey has been a stalwart here for a number of years, and they're starting to get a little bit of a rhythm together.
Coach, how concerned are you about the depth at safety and the injury situation going on right now at safety?
Definitely a concern. I mean, we're down multiple bodies there. Not going to have Buddha this week, which he's one of the best players in the league, and that's a hard guy to replace. But we have some young guys that have to step up and take advantage of the opportunity that's coming their way.
All right, so 3 games in, DeAndre Hopkins leads the NFL in receptions and receiving yardage. What have you come to enjoy about his game? I know for us, or at least for me, I didn't realize yards after the catch, how skilled he is as a guy with the ball in his hands. How about you?
I'd say the same thing. I mean, he's dynamic as anybody I've been around. Not being the fastest guy, but he has a real knack for making people miss in the open field. And then just his competitive nature on game day. I mean, the guy is as competitive as I've been around, and it's just fun to be around.
From your quarterback's perspective, Kliff, how much is too much? Can you be too reliant on DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, I think you want to make sure you're going to the right place with the ball and not forcing things. When he's open, let's take advantage of it, but let's not force it. We have a lot of great playmakers on this offense.
How about some first impressions on the Panthers? They went out, they ended a 10-game skid going back to last year before the arrival of Matt Rule. What stood out to you on film?
They're playing hard, very talented defensively, give you a bunch of looks, and offensively still have some great weapons. It was tough for them losing McCaffrey, obviously, but Bridgewater is an established player in this league and have some great wideouts that are making plays, and this will be a huge challenge on the road.
What makes Teddy Bridgewater the quarterback that he is, Kliff? He just seems to be one of these guys. I love watching him play, whether he's running, extending a play, or throwing the ball and forcing it downfield. I really love watching Teddy Bridgewater play. What about from your perspective?
Yeah, I think he's a very cerebral player. He tends to always get the ball out of his hand on time, know where to go with the football, and like you mentioned, can then extend plays with his legs and make plays. But he's a very good player, and they have a nice scheme they brought in and are executing it at a high level.
You know, that Carolina defense had no sacks for the first 2 games, and then they started bringing the blitz against the Chargers. They had a bunch of sacks. They had 16 quarterback hits. What do you think of the scheme of the Panthers D?
Yeah, it's really good. I actually faced their defense coordinator when he was at Baylor, and I've watched how he's evolved, and they do a tremendous job. Coach Rule is one of the top coaches out there, and those guys play hard, and you can tell they're excited about their future there.
They've been using a platoon at left tackle because of injury, 3 different guys. What do you think of Chandler Jones so far? We haven't called his name a lot through 3 games. Is he getting more attention than ever? What's your best analysis there on Chandler?
There's no question. I mean, he's drawing a lot of attention, whether it's backs chipping or tight ends. staying in to help protect. I mean, that they know where he's at on every play, and it's actually opening up other guys. You can see the sack production is still there as a team because they're putting so much emphasis on slowing down Chandler.
Now, Paul Calvisi and Ron Wolfley put their eye on the opponent, presented by Phillips Law Group, proud partner of the Cardinals.
All right, we heard from Coach Kingsbury about his team, the Cardinals, and coaches coming back. Let's talk about Carolina. They just ended their own losing skid at 10. And I know you don't want to hear this, Ron Wolfley, but Teddy Bridgewater and the team credited a players-only meeting.
No way.
Where they said they got to know each other because they lost Christian McCaffrey after losing their first 2 games. Then they won, and they beat the Chargers, and Teddy Bridgewater leading the way.
Yeah, no, Teddy is, first of all, a great leader, Paul. Really love to watch Teddy Bridgewater and the way he goes out there and he plays. And right now, he is their offense, frankly. Throwing the ball very, very well. Number 8 in total yards per game, passing yards per game, number 8 in passing yards per play. The Carolina Panthers do a good job moving the ball down the field via the pass, but they really don't do a good job controlling the line of scrimmage right now. They really obviously miss Christian McCaffrey, of course, right? But this is a good team. This is going to be a good test for the Arizona Cardinals on the road.
They also have that platoon at left tackle, and Joey Bosa had a very strong game, so we'll see what happens with Chandler Jones in this one. The defense for Carolina now went out and forced 4 turnovers against the Chargers. Young quarterback Justin Herbert, but that's got to get the Cardinals' attention after they had 3 picks, obviously, in this last loss against the Lions.
No, absolutely. Their defense right now, they're having a hard time controlling the line of scrimmage. It's very similar to what the Cardinals faced against the Detroit Lions. I'd love to see the Arizona Cardinals come out and try to really run the ball once again because they've had a hard time controlling the line of scrimmage. Plus, their defense really doesn't put a lot of pressure on the opposing quarterback. And because of that, Paulie, they're also number 31 in third down defense, getting off the field. That's the one area I think the Arizona Cardinals have really done a great job. Their third down defense and getting off the field themselves, while the Panthers are really struggling with that.
Whatever Matt Patricia did against Kyler Murray, and he wouldn't share with the media.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to see that again, whatever it was the Lions employed?
I think there's a real possibility, Paulie. You're going to see this strategy of basically rushing 3, dropping 8, rushing 4, dropping 7, maybe playing a little bit more zone, actually keeping eyes on Kyler Murray, maybe even a robber situation where you're going to play man across the board with a free safety in the middle of the field and then actually bring down a lurker to spy Kyler Murray. I think there's a real possibility we're not going to see blitzes. We're not going to see 6 men or more coming after Kyler Murray in the future. Probably not the next 3-4 weeks at least.
Because he had the marquee touchdown run, but he only ran it 5 times total for 29 yards in that game against the Lions.
Coach K with his keys to victory against the Panthers when Game Plan returns. Cardinals Game Plan has been presented by Dignity Health. Hello, human kindness. By Nissan. For great offers, shop nissanusa.com. By Desert Financial Credit Union, sharing success with you. And by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
All right, back with the head coach wrapping things up here on Game Plan. Kliff Kingsbury, who has gone against Matt Rule twice in the college game, Texas Tech against Baylor. And it's interesting, Coach. Matt Rule said this week, we're getting better. It's week 3. We're still figuring out exactly who we are and how we do things. I'm guessing you can kind of relate to that going back a year or so.
No question. And Coach Rule has done a phenomenal job everywhere he's at. And you can just see on tape the improvement from week 1 to week 3 that they've made and they'll continue to make.
Coach, talk to us about the keys to victory coming up against the Carolina Panthers. If, in fact, you're going to beat the Panthers, what do you got to do?
Yeah, first and foremost, protect the football. I mean, that was our kind of Achilles heel this week, having 3 turnovers and not getting any takeaways. And this is an opportunistic defense we're facing. They had 4 takeaways this past week, and so we've got to protect the ball.
Does the young team tend to play up or down to the level of its competition? Is that something you're dealing with to a degree?
I don't think so. I just think, early on in the season, we're kind of still working out the kinks. No offseason, no preseason football. It's going to be a while before I think all these teams in the NFL hit their stride.
Coach, you worried about the 10 a.m. start body clock wise?
I hope not. I thought we handled it well last year when we made those East Coast trips, and we bumped our practice up a little bit and are practicing fairly early out here. And so I think we should have a pretty good feel for it.
All right, 2 state trips to the East Coast. Coach, good luck in Carolina.
Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, fellas.
Thank you for watching Cardinals Game Plan.